Middle East truces, a sitting U.S. president on a brand new banknote, sudden power shifts in India, and massive digital youth movements clashing with a historic exam crisis. Welcome to Zenith Global News.
Today we're breaking down 7 major stories shaping our world right now. We are cutting through all the noise to bring you the facts directly from the sources, all mapped out visually.
First up, global diplomacy and truces, focusing on the U.S.-Iran ceasefire.
American and Iranian negotiators have actually agreed on a tentative 60-day truce framework. Under this draft memorandum of understanding, the Strait of Hormuz would reopen to completely unrestricted commercial traffic, with Iran agreeing to clear all deployed naval mines within 30 days. Right now, though, this critical agreement is just waiting on the final sign-off from U.S. President Donald Trump.
So why does this matter to you and me? Well, the fallout from this standoff has absolutely rattled global energy markets and choked off vital shipping lanes. A return to unrestricted commercial shipping directly impacts fuel prices worldwide, and it stabilizes a notoriously volatile region.
The core mechanics here involve what experts call proportional de-escalation. Basically, in exchange for Iran committing to not pursue a nuclear weapon, the U.S. would lift naval blockades on Iranian ports and issue sanctions waivers for oil sales. All right, let's pivot from international waters straight over to American domestic affairs and a historic shift at the U.S. Treasury.
Moving on to American politics and currency, looking at the proposed $250 bill.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has confirmed that preparations are officially underway for a brand new $250 bill. This proposed banknote is specifically designed to mark America's 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. And the kicker? The finalized design mock-up prominently features the face and signature of President Donald Trump.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the legal hurdle. For over a century, U.S. law has strictly barred any living person from appearing on currency, no exceptions. However, legislation is currently sitting in front of both the House and the Senate to create a very specific exception that would actually allow a living president to be featured.
As Treasury Secretary Bessent stated, he doesn't view having the current president on this milestone anniversary bill as untoward. Critics, on the other hand, compare this to expanding a personal brand in an official capacity. It is a fascinating real-time test of American institutional norms. Now, from U.S. political branding, let's take a jump over to the Indian subcontinent for a sudden state-level power transition.
Story number 3, Indian state politics, taking a close look at the Karnataka leadership shift.
We've just seen a major political shakeup in Karnataka. Governor Thawar Chand Gehlot officially accepted the resignation of Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. Following this immediate departure, the path was totally cleared for a new administration, with DK Shivakumar officially named as the next chief minister to lead the state.
So why does this matter? A midterm leadership shift in a massive economic hub like Karnataka has incredibly widespread implications. It affects regional stability, administrative continuity, and honestly, the broader political balance across all of South India. So the crucial point is that this represents a highly strategic power transition. Managing state-level administration during such a sudden handover requires navigating some really deep political currents. And speaking of deep political currents, let's look at how the mood of the youth is creating a very different kind of political wave right now.
Up next, youth frustration and activism and the rise of the cockroach movement.
Check this out. The satirical Cockroach Janta Party, launched by 30-year-old Abhijit Dipke, has become an absolute viral sensation. Framing itself as the voice of the lazy and unemployed, this campaign is aggressively channeling deep Gen Z frustration over job scarcity, skyrocketing living costs, and those recurring examination paper leaks happening across the country.
But there is a massive contrast at play here. The movement boasts nearly 23 million followers online, highlighting incredible digital outrage against current economic conditions. Yet, despite drawing intense criticism from ruling party leaders who call it an anti-India gang, the movement currently has absolutely zero real-world street presence.
Anti-corruption activist Prashant Bhushan hit the nail on the head here. He noted that without grassroots organization and physical public mobilization, digital momentum usually just fades against the hurdles of real-world political power. The digital anger is totally real, though, driven heavily by those recurring exam leaks. Which brings us perfectly to the unprecedented crisis surrounding the NEET medical entrance exam.
Our 5th segment, Education and Exam Crisis, specifically securing the NEET exam.
Things have escalated to the point where the Prime Minister's office is now directly monitoring the exam process, following the disastrous May 3rd paper leak out of a Nashik printing press.
To prevent another breach for the June 21st retest, the Education Ministry is actually considering the unprecedented step of using the Indian Air Force to physically transport the question papers to exam destinations.
You really have to ask, has conducting a fair exam become this daunting? This matters deeply, because relying on defense forces meant for national border protection highlights a profound systemic mistrust in the civilian and postal machinery. And let's not forget, the futures of 23 lakh students are quite literally hanging in the balance.
And this brilliantly illustrates the government's new zero trust, always inspect policy. The sheer vulnerability of outsourced exam logistics has forced a total, massive operational overhaul. Okay, let's shift gears and move to our final block, looking at 2 critical global health and security updates.
Our final section today, Global Health and Security, examining dual crises.
First up, India has just deployed emergency pharmaceutical supplies, we're talking crucial diagnostics and therapeutics, to the Democratic Republic of Congo to help combat a severe Ebola outbreak. Meanwhile, over in Moscow, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval addressed an international security forum. He urged decisive action against state sponsors of terrorism and demanded urgent reforms to post-World War II institutions, like the UN, to better represent the Global South.
So, it leaves us with one massive question. As power shifts and global crises evolve, from the Strait of Hormuz to high-stakes exam halls to the floors of the UN itself, are our institutions adapting fast enough to protect us? Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Stay informed, stay aware, stay ahead. Only on Zenith Global News.